What's going on, guys? It's Cyh Kaitoh here. We're back with another deck profile. As you guys can see, today I'll be doing a Gren Maju deck profile. This is a deck I built for my friend Nicholas, who just came back to play Yu-Gi-Oh after 5 years. He said he wanted a deck that is easy to play without any fancy combo or so I built this deck for him. It's, yes, of course, the most essentially most branded deck you can ever find in Yu-Gi-Oh history, and it's also quite budget. You can do it around like a few hundred ringgit will be there, except for the extras. Extra may be a little bit pricey, but you can, there's another alternate ways to do it. So without further ado, let's go into the profiles. So start off, we have the boss monster. We have not one, not two, but three Gren Maju. And this guy is not technically your win con, it's just there for pressure. If you can win it with this monster, of course it will be better, because as soon as you normal summon it or you special summon it, somehow your opponent gonna be like destroyed or whatever it is. But this is your main monster you want to see during the second or third turn. You just punch it and one punch your opponent to death. And yes, 3 Grand Majus. And for other monster, we play 2 Fairytale Kaguya. For people who don't know what this card does, is when this card is normal summon, you get to add one attack 1850 spellcaster monster from deck to your hand, which is herself. You mostly just add herself, and once per turn you can target herself and one of your opponent's face-up monster. If you do, bounce both targets to the hand, but your opponent can send one other monster from his extra or main deck as the same name as that monster to the grave, then can cancel this effect. It literally negates it. So this card just baits bounce. If you play Kaiju, you can Kaiju your opponents and use this effect to bounce it again, and then just tribute it again. You literally just clear 2 monsters in a row. So this card is just too good not to play. And for other normal summons, 3 the Thunder King Ryo. I was playing Inspect Border, but I change this to 3 because if you think back, not allowing your opponent to search is literally much better in certain ways. Against Drytron, they literally have to waste 2 monsters in order to kill this. After that, it will be your main phase 2, and this card doesn't lose that much because you can summon it multiple pieces if you have 2. During the first turn, you have number summon this, and then the next turn you just number summon again. While Inspect Border can't do that because you can't summon it if you got other monsters on the field. Speaking of Inspect Borders, I'm still playing the one piece borders because sometimes your board ends with this. Is literally just pressures your opponent. Your opponent literally have to make 2 outs to this card, which is kind of broken. And for other monsters I play is 1 Prankatops, because if you blind second, you need something to beat out your opponents. You need something to beat negates to pop a card. This card just helps you do it. And next is 2 Gizmex Orochi. I'm planning to play 3, but it's just too much for playing 3 pieces. If you draw multiple pieces, it can't do much, and you need it as less as possible. Drawing multiple, this is a brick, and mostly you summon this during your opponent's turn. So after that, during your turn, you can have a free pop a card, which is kind of nice. I'm not playing multiples as usual. I'm not playing 3 pieces any deck, any like invoke or anything. It's 2 pieces, just a perfect number to me. Hand traps. 2 Ash Blossoms. I only play 2, same reason as Gizmex Orochis. You don't want to draw multiple pieces because in this deck you don't want to grind too much. You want to draw your Majus or your win con as much as possible. Dragging game with this deck doesn't do well. It will literally just kill yourself in the mid game. And 2D Crow against grave decks like Virtual, Drytron, or even Eldritch. This card is just broken in a way. And also the 2 Maxis to round out the hand traps. The 2-2-2 ratios I believe is fine. You don't draw multiple pieces in your hand, because all of them mostly are once per turn. Drawing multiples, you just kill yourself. To me, I tested a lot. It's almost kill myself when I can't draw Maju or any monsters. For the spells, 2 Extravagance. I'm not playing 3 because again, drawing multiple pieces will literally just kill yourself. So 2 is the perfect number, and also I played Scapegoats in this deck, so I think 2 piece is enough. And you don't want to draw too much since you have Port of Desires. It's a Maju deck, you draw a lot, so if you open this you can't conduct your draw anymore, which is kind of brick sometimes. And speaking of Desires, triple Desires, the best card in the deck. 3 Egyptian God card there. There's no reason for you not to play it. Drawing 2 is nice, and it doesn't care about what you banish. And also 2 Cosmic for back rows. This deck literally lose to back rows like Solom or any floodgates can literally beat this deck if they don't effort out to it, unless they playing something like Goes and Match, so it doesn't matter, you just pass one monster on turn. But still, I want to play safe. Two Cosmics, 2 Scapegoat. You can't only rely on Maju to win the game, of course. You need something to trick your opponent's baits, negates, and Scapegoat just helps you do it. Although you play the Extravagance, sometimes you might banish your extra decks for your Scapegoat's target, but this card just there to help you stall until you get your Majus. Yep, just there. For traps, 3 Crackdown. This card's still nice, especially during a Maju deck. You crack down your opponent's monsters, so you have a clear way for your Majus to one punch your opponent. And this card is not once per turn, so you can open multiples, and then your opponent somehow just empty the board. It disrupts plays, open board for OTKs. This card just does a lot. And the God card, 3 Macrocosmos. This is the reason why Grand Maju is so good. Banishing everything on the field, you doesn't care about your stuff, you just want your Majus to OTKs. Really good against Virtual World, against Eldritch. This card just clear everything. There can be only one. I don't want to play multiples because, as you can see, I have a lot of floodgates. So you open multiple of this doesn't do much. You only wanted to open 1 pieces, and then if your opponent outs it, it's just there. You opening it's not like you're having a second piece and you flip another one. There won't be a lot of chance for you to do it because you'll be decking out by then. So 1 is enough. And the other 1 piece is Vanity Emptiness, because why not? You doesn't special summon much. You can chain this and then chain 2 Gizmek Orochis, and you still have a monster. If they pot your Gizmeks, this card just sends to grave and your Orochi is float again next turn. And 2 Strike. I'm not playing 3. I'm not trying to kill my life point before our opponent dies. And triple Solemn Judgment. I'm playing Solemn Judgment instead of Strike because I scared of Lightning Storm, Dusters, heavy back rows, and so on. So I'm playing the Judgment instead of Strikes. And that's all for the main decks. That's 40 cards, I believe. And on to the extras. For Waking targets, I play Waking Dragon, Ultimate Falcon, and Natria Exterior. This card is mainly just because of Invoke or Shadows. This literally just wins against most of the deck against Zodiacs, unless they have a Mega Clubs, and then this card just, well, that didn't happen. Hopefully it doesn't happen at all. 1 Dingrisu, because you can make it out with your Gizmex. You can free send a card from your opponent's grave. Also it's a beater, and protecting all your cards from being destroyed is kind of nice. And Link Spider, Link Kribos, Cerberus, 2 Phoenix, Unicorn. These are just standards for your Scapegoat targets. Not much to explain. I play the multiple copies because since I play Extravagance, I want my Scapegoat to be alive. And 1 BLS, you can make this off of Gizmex or any 2 other monsters. Make these cards somehow indestructible. 1 Avramax. Sometimes I don't want to make Borrow Sword or even Access Code Talker. These cards sometimes beat out something that can be destroyed, and it floats the effect, it bounces your opponent's card, so it's kind of nice. 1 Firewall. This is for the Windust play. If your opponent stands a Winder and you activate Scapegoats, you can literally just make this and punch it through and then just special summon other stuff. And Borrow Sword, your win card, and Access Code Talker, your another win card. These are your boss monsters. Mostly you open Scapegoats. This plus Maju is just bonkers, man. And that's the extra. For the sides, 2 Gamma Seal. I hate Colossus. If I can kill it, they will kill me next turn because they can prevent destroys. And this card also outs BFDs. If they don't activate effect first, then of course it is what it is. 1 Nibiru. I'm not playing the multiple copies because I play Scapegoat, so 1 is enough. And one of the God side decks, Dimension Shifters. When its effects is if your graveyard doesn't have any cards, you can send this card from hand to the graveyard, and if you do, during the next turn, this card essentially is another Macrocosmo. And this card is literally a brick going first, but you wanted to throw it during your first turn, so it doesn't matter. This card literally just says no Yu-Gi-Oh in the graveyard. So if you're going first, you can activate this, and then you just pass. Your opponent can't do anything in the graveyard. If you're going second, during your opponent's standby phase, you can just throw and steal. No graveyard in the opponent's turn, so this card just stops grave. And 2 Mind Control for any decks like Invoked, Zodiacs. You wanted to move out your problematic monsters and then you just link it away. And the most important part is you can mind control your opponent's Galatea and make your own Dingrisu, which is kind of nice. And 2 Lightning Storm and Feather Duster. This card is for back rows. Sometimes opponent's back row might be annoying, like Alter Guys. This deck can't run through back rows. You need something to clear it off, and this card just helps you do it. And 2 Waking the Dragon. This is for punish your opponent from Duster or Lightning Storm or your back rows. This card just insane. Sometimes it doesn't necessarily to summon Ultimate Falcon or Nexturia Exterior. Sometimes you can summon out your Inspect Border, but I never did that. It's just an option. And the last will be 3 evenly matched. Again, you'll be playing a banished decks. Might as well just banish your opponents as well and discard clear boards. So guys, that's all for the deck profile. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think about this. Feel free to let me know any decks you guys wanted to do as a deck profile. I will reply as soon as possible. Be sure to hit the like button and the subscribe button as always, and we'll see you next time. Peace.